have you seen? You don't engage your people. We don't know your mind. You come, you give recorded statements. And for security agents reminding us what happened, answer, hell yeah, we also remind you of what 2020.
Tinubu and his minister again. See, take your time, listen to this video. What this guy, Rufai Oseni, said on this video. How he give it to Tinubu. He tell him face to face. And that is how it should be. If you can't talk to us, we will talk to you. Take your time, watch this video to the end. We'll come back.
President Bola Tinubu has urged young protesters to cancel their planned demonstrations, assuring them that the government is actively addressing their concerns. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, conveyed this message at a meeting with the President at the State House. He emphasized that President Tinubu takes the grievances of the youth seriously. Idris highlighted the government's recent actions, such as the swift approval of a new national minimum wage by the National Assembly, as proof of the president's commitment to improving the country's future. This appeal comes amid growing public discontent and calls for nationwide protests next month in response to economic hardship and policy decisions.
We also discussed the issue of the country generally, and Mr. President has asked me to again inform Nigerians that he listens to them, especially the young people that are trying to protest. Mr. President is listening to them. He takes what they say seriously and is working assiduously to ensure that this country is good not just for today but also for the future. The issue of the planned protest, Mr. President does not see any need for that. He's asked them to shelve that plan. He's asked them to await government's response to all their pleas. He has listened to them, like I said, and a lot is happening. Only today, the National Assembly has expeditiously passed the new national minimum wage. You can see how the president is working. It was transmitted only yesterday. Today, it has been passed. A lot of other interventions that the president has also put in place are also going to be looked at expeditiously in the interest of Nigeria. So there's no need for strike. The young people out there should listen to the president and allow the president more time to see to the realization of all the goodies he has for them.
Okay, yesterday we had this conversation, Rufai, in terms of, we said that the president should come out and speak to the people, and that especially his handlers, his spokespersons should be more, their language should change. Yeah. And we see this happening. Your take on the story?
I think they're not ready. President Tinubu, with due respect, sir, you are not ready. If you don't want this strike, you know what to do to the people or the protest. Engage them. Tell your citizens, see, people used to say this thing, you go explain tire. As a leader, you must explain tire. The people did not vote for Information Minister or Mr. Bayo Onanuga that is abusing everybody, and now Mr. Peter Obi has instituted a suit against him. He said if he doesn't apologize 72 hours, he will sue him. Maybe Mr. Peter Obi was even listening to the show. You must engage. At first, you don't engage your people. You came, you don't engage. Since President Tinubu has been president, how many interviews have you seen? Over a year. How many sit-downs? You don't engage your people. We don't know your mind. You come, you give recorded statements, speeches, well choreographed. That's not what the people want. They want engagement. They want to hear you, that you feel them. I put an option earlier on yesterday. I said President Tinubu can do a syndicated Twitter Spaces. That's syndicated across every platform. Engage the young people. Have conversations. It's not by sending security agents everywhere to say, oh, don't remember what happened in NSAS. And for security agents reminding us what happened in NSAS, hell yeah, we also remind you of what 2012. Why was there no violence? There was no chaos now. You shut the country down for 2 years. There was no chaos. So stop using NSAS as a benchmark. We had protests in this country in 2012. Nothing happened. So protests can actually be peaceful. Occupy Nigeria was peaceful, except for one killing of Demola Yahya Baton. In fact, people had carnival-like atmosphere at the Ganifa Wemi Park in Ojota. So stop bringing reminders of NSAS. Truth has to be told. A president needs to engage his people, and it's not these handlers that will keep speaking. President Tinubu, you still have the time now to do it. You still have the time now to do it. Don't let your advisors mislead you by saying, no, don't worry, we'll handle it. They are never in your best interest. Your advisors are in their own best interest. They think about themselves. You are just a tool to make their dreams work.
Okay, very quickly. I think a number of principles need to be stated. The first is that the right to protest is constitutional. Nobody is opposing the right to protest. And I think that the Nigerian government should not oppose the right to protest. What the Nigerian government can oppose is the resolve to impose chaos on the state. People going about on Twitter saying Tinubu must go, Nigeria must collapse. Now, that's not protest. that is bordering on the grounds of an attempt to mobilize anarchy. Now, the protest, as proposed, is supposed to take place from August 1 to August 10, and they have called it Days of Rage. There is no responsible government that will sit down, fold its arms, and allow people to say they are going to impose rage on the country. And we must know, we must all realize that the state has a responsibility to prevent chaos, to prevent anarchy. Whoever is in power, whether it's Tinubu or is anybody else, there's a state, qua state, that has a responsibility to make sure that this space called Nigeria remains at peace. Number two, it is the fact that we should understand the contemporary context. The people who have been referring to, okay, in 2012, there was a protest in Ojota. In 2014, President Tinubu said this. All of that was not in the context of violence. They were giving people designer T-shirts. They were preparing pepper soup for people at Ojota Motor Park. Okay, that was what happened at that time. NSAS came later. Okay, NSAS had its own contradictions, its own discontents that have remained unresolved. But the contemporary context that I'm talking about is in the context of the Kenya riots, which led to the death of 50 people. Now, what happened in Kenya has caused another commotion in Uganda. In Uganda, they have a Stop Corruption protest. Yes, they have a leader, Museveni, who has been in power for 40 years. And Museveni told them, well, I'm not saying you should not protest, but go ahead and protest. But if you cause violence, we will respond appropriately. Now, you can say Museveni is, a dictator. But all of this, again, has to be seen in an historical context. You remember 2011 Arab Spring. It started in Tunisia. The thing spread throughout, the whole of the Middle East, leading to regime change and all of that. So the fear of the establishment, is understandable in that regard. However, the point must be properly made that if it is peaceful protest about whatever, people are saying being power all over Nigeria. People are saying, look, there's too much hardship. Yesterday we were told MBS jacked up, told us that the interest rate or inflation rate has gone up. Monetary Policy Committee has increased interest rate. Okay, all of that speak to the hardship in the country. What we can say is that President Tinubu should listen to the people, address their grievances, particularly about hunger. But nothing in the Constitution of Nigeria gives anybody to preach violence. And the state has a responsibility to protect itself and make sure that violent people do not hijack the state. Everything else beyond that is politics.
All right, yes. Usually the challenges with protests is when they are hijacked by unscrupulous elements and they make it violent. If you look at and study the previous protests, they were done by the people who spearheaded it, were done peacefully. In fact, like you mentioned, Rufai, after a while, they would provide a community such that people even begin to make friends, yes, talk, because everybody is, or most of them, are united by one common goal to see a better Nigeria. So if we're looking at violence, what should happen should be that the security agency should use the intelligence provided, especially as the UN has also raised the alarm that some elements might want to hijack, the key word is hijack, these peaceful protests and make them violent, and provide security for Nigerians who have a right, guaranteed by the Constitution, to protest. So that's what should happen. They should use the intelligence to protect the Nigerian people, not just to protect the government. You are there to protect the people, not just the government. You are there to protect Nigerians' lives and properties. So if you hear that people want to hijack a peaceful protest because people are unhappy with what is going on in the nation, then you should use the intelligence to protect, send more people to protect the people. That's what the Nigerian security agencies should be doing. So if there's any violence that happens, the onus should be on the Nigerian security agencies who did not use intelligence to do what they ought to be doing. But aside from that, I said it yesterday and I maintain that stance, that what this administration would want to do is to avoid protest, because we have seen the effect of this. No president, no leader wants to see the loss of lives of his citizens. And so we called for engagement, dialogue with the people, not just from us, from different quarters as well. A number of people have said, NLC said so, NAN said so, open up the dialogue communications. I want to say the first step has been done. I don't think it's enough in terms of the Minister for Information. He's talked about, and now they're highlighting and talking about interventions. This is what we said. Communication is important. You cannot say we're doing, but no one sees or feels the impact of what you're doing. So the fact that he's come out to now detail the intervention of this administration to alleviate the sufferings of Nigeria is commendable, but not enough. He talked about the swift passage of the national minimum wage. Good. He talked about distribution of rice. Don't forget, only 24,000 bags of rice went to 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. And we talked about it yesterday, how it will just come up to perhaps a handful of rice or just a small. It's insufficient. So once you're doing that, leading up to the 1st of August, rather than posing threats and getting people to come out and say, oh, this is it. Bring out people who will do things. Let Nigerians feel the effect and see that you're serious about listening to the people. Hold conversations. Let us see the president. We want to see the leader. Yes, he cannot be speaking all the time, but once in a while, hold a youth conversation. Call a few key youth leaders, have conversations with them, and highlight or detail the plans and follow up with action. So many things to be said, but I'm hopeful that in the course of today's show, we'll be able to break it down a bit more. I'll reiterate. No one wants protest because of what could happen in terms of it being hijacked. However, the president and the leadership must sit up to demonstrate to Nigerians that they're serious about dealing with the issues.
You see, this is the problem. And this is why I like this Rufai Oseni on Arise News. You're telling your face. Yes. Now, you're telling us that there is no need to protest. We too, we are telling you there is need to protest. You don't come through your spokesperson that is putting you into trouble. Information minister that do not have information. How long are you going to continue speaking with us through your spokesperson, through your this, at this critical time? Are you not supposed to come since address us, address the nation? This is what you are doing. This is what you focus on. You are only telling us that there is no need. There's no need to protest. But we the youth that want to go on the street and protest, we are also telling you that there is need to protest. We have thousands of reasons to protest. If you do not have one reason, we have thousands of reasons to protest. According to Wale, if he give you the list, are you able to meet up? No, at this time, what are you doing? Nothing. You sit at home telling us rubbish. So nobody can see you. We cannot. Nobody can interview you. Nobody. You can't talk to the nation. You can't address us at this time. See what Kenya is doing. Kenya president that day when they jump on this, they wake up. Even before that day, they are only there telling us what are those things. He said you're distributing. You cannot solve Nigerian problem with temporary giving them food item. This. How long are you going to continue to do that? Something that does. It doesn't go round. Since last year, you'll be saying you want to give a palliatives to ameliorate. Since last year, you'll be saying you want to give palliatives to ameliorate the suffering, this question, the effect, or the subsidy removal. Since last year, how many of those things have you distributed? It doesn't go round. So you can't solve Nigerian problem with this temporary measure. You need to find a lasting, permanent solution to this. And you know what to do. You are not doing anything. You can't even come and address the nation. Right from the one you started campaigning for presidency until today, there's always be a problem. You giving your information minister, your spokesperson, they will come and give false information. No. So at the end of the day, whatever those people say, you have reason to debunk them. That no, it doesn't come from your office. They lie. After all, they have been lying against Nigerians. They have been lying. They're telling us false information, giving us. So we don't take them serious. We don't take them, especially by Onanuga. You don't expect us to take them seriously since they don't know their job. His job is to abuse people, to bully people. So we can't take him seriously. So you need to address, what are you doing? So until that day, when you see the force, on that day, you will be forced to speak. You cannot speak now. You are too big. You are too busy. You are too big to address the nation, to speak to your citizens. When you see the masses, the youth jump on the street that day to protest, you will see the reason to speak to them. You will be forced to do so. And you will be forced to do a lot of things. You don't understand. No, it's very wrong. You're telling us, sending your information minister, you're stupid. You don't see reasons to protest. We have thousands of reasons to protest. Since you enter into this office, what have you done? What have you done to solve one problem of this country? Which problem? Which one have you solved? Is security? No. What? Fuel subsidy remove. After you said subsidy gone over 1 year ago, you have no solution to reduce the prices of the price of fuel. You have no solution. Yet they said the subsidy is bad. Why is the fuel going up? The price of fuel. Why is it keep going up? You have solution. You don't have any solution to it. Since you don't have solution to it, then go home and relax. Let those who think they have solutions to the problem come and solve it for us and solve this at least once and for all. You can't continue telling everybody to tighten up their belt. You guys are not tightening. You guys are living well and just suffering. Nigerians, we have no reasons to suffer, bro. No, you can't even stop it. Yes, they protest. We are not planning for a violent protest. It's peaceful protest. It's peaceful protest. If you and your security agencies give us, the protester, a violence, that's when we will repeat what you guys are doing. That is it. So we are coming with, nobody is coming with harmful equipment, tools. Nobody is coming with a gun or even those things. So everybody have been advised, come, peaceful protest. But if you feel that you are too big, you want to repeat what you did during ensides, then you see the other side of hungry Nigerians. You don't understand. That's when you see the other side of hungry man is an angry man. So you know that before. And you don't need anybody to tell you that there is hunger in the land. You know it. So hungry man is an angry man. Angry man will choose to do anything because he doesn't care. Somebody who left home since morning before he went for protest does not have food when he come back. So what do you expect that person to do? He's ready to do. So advise this your spokespeople who are taking your office for granted, who are taking the job of a president as information spokesperson as their own personal. So somebody who is working for the nation shouldn't be found in speaking recklessly. You don't understand. So you must come and talk to your nation because we are not seeing anything you are doing. Probably through this protest, we'll see what you are going to do. Please share this video, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you're first time you're coming across this video. I'll be your guy, runner for me now.